Welcome back. Well, today I have a special treat for you. You know, on the first show I told you I was going to bring some friends in and let them show you some fantastic painting methods also. And today I have a lady that comes right out of California, and she's going to show you how to do, the most fantastic seascapes you've ever seen. So I'd like to introduce you today to my friend Joyce Ortner. Joyce, we're glad to have you with us. Thanks for coming.
Oh, Bob, thanks so much for inviting me. I hope everyone enjoys painting a seascape today.
Well, very good. I'm going to get off the set here and let you have it, and I'll see you at the end of the show.
All right. Okay, we're going to do a basic seascape today, and it's a painting I call the anatomy of a wave. What I'm going to do is take a large brush, and I'm going to dip it in a medium. Now, this medium is a mixture of linseed oil, paint thinner, and high-gloss urethane varnish. Damar varnish dries too fast for me because I do a lot of blending, so I find that the high-gloss urethane works better. So remember, that's equal parts, 1/3, 1/3, linseed oil, paint thinner, and varnish. So I'm dipping my large brush into the medium. Maybe I better start off by telling you the colors. The tube colors I'm using today are right here is white, cad yellow medium, phthalo blue, alizarin crimson, and phthalo green. Now I've taken and made a mixture of equal parts of alizarin crimson and phthalo green right there, and I've made that a perfect black. And you can test your color by adding white to it in a pile here, and you want to achieve a perfect gray. Now if you have too much red, you'll have to add more green, or if it's too green, you'll have to add more red. Now this is a wonderful color because that color will help you control the strong phthalo colors that you've got on your palette today. All right, I'm going to dip my brush in the medium, go into my white, pick up some phthalo blue, and I'm going to start right in on my sky. You'll notice I have a piece of masking tape stretched across my canvas. Now that will be my horizon line. Notice it is not at the center, or either does it divide my canvas into thirds, but it's almost in between, being 1/3 and 1/2 up. Now I've marked this at 7.5 inches. This is an 18 by 24 inch canvas. This is the top of my tape is 7.5 inches down from the top. Now that's going to be the horizon line of my ocean, which we always want it to be perfectly straight. All right, I've got my phthalo blue and white on my brush, and I'm doing the X stroke that gets that paint really into the weave of your canvas. Now you can relax and really enjoy this painting because it's a lot of fun, and you can really learn a lot because it's going to teach you how the motion of the water works. Now the top of our sky is going to be darker than the rest, and we'll get lighter as we get towards the bottom of the sky. I'm going to pick up more white. I think that this X stroke I'm using is probably my basic stroke. You'll notice throughout the painting I really use it a great deal. Now as I get further down on my canvas, almost to the horizon, I'm going to pick up white, go into my alizarin crimson, so I get a very soft pink color. All right, I want that to be right on top of that tape. Notice I paint right on the tape. I'm going to go all the way across my canvas, right on the horizon. A little more medium, a little more white, a little more pink. Remember, anyone can paint. Just takes a little practice, a few simple tools, and maybe somebody to get you started. And it takes lots of paper towels or rags, I find. Back into my medium. I think I'll put a little more color on the sky at the top. More phthalo blue and white. Again, I'll go over the colors on the palette. They're white, cadmium yellow, phthalo blue, alizarin crimson, and phthalo green. All right, this is what you call blending. I'm going to really merge these colors that I've got on my sky so that it's a very subtle graduation from the blues into the pinks, which makes a lavender transition right there. We know that if we take alizarin crimson and phthalo blue and white, we're going to get a soft lavender here. Okay, we're going to leave this a real simple sky. If we have time, we'll go back and put clouds if we want them, but right now we'll keep it simple. And the most fun part, I think, is taking off the tape. See, that gives me a straight horizon, and that is a hard trick to keep a straight horizon, so I think you'll find that masking tape works really, really good. I've mixed another color here on my palette. This color is white with phthalo blue and alizarin crimson. Now I've made a lavender out of that, a little bit to the blue side. You don't make it too pink. Now this is the color that we'll put on our horizon. Again, I'm going to go into my medium and pick up some of that blue lavender color I've got. Now that's the color I'm going to use across my horizon. I've got a good amount of paint loaded into my brush. I've got an edge groomed into my brush so that I can go right on that edge, and I'll do vertical strokes. It's worth taking the time to do it this way because it keeps your horizon straight. If you ever get it crooked, you'll know what a fight it can be. But remember, you can't make any mistakes you can't fix, so we don't have to worry if we do make a mistake. That's the joy of painting with oils. They're very, very forgiving. Right, I'm going to go all the way across my horizon this way with a mixture of alizarin crimson, phthalo blue, and white. And it's a little more blue than it is to the pink. I don't know if you've ever painted seascapes before, but they're lots of fun. That's what I paint the most. I live right by the ocean in California, and it's really beautiful. I've got a little bitty dippy-doo in my horizon. We can fix it, right? We can't make any mistakes we can't fix. Okay, I'm going to need to load my brush again, a little more medium, more lavender color. Now this part of the painting is really underpainting. Now I can use a horizontal stroke that I've got my paint laid on there. Now I'll go back pretty soon and soften that horizon, but right now I'll leave it. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in what I call the baseline of the wave. Now this is really important. I think this will help you with your seascapes a lot. I'm dipping my brush into medium, and I'm picking up that very, very black color that I mixed, half phthalo green and half alizarin crimson. Now this line is going to be straight, but at an angle. And I'm going to have it start right about here. And notice the angle, it's dipping down. This adds interest. We don't want everything to go straight across on this painting. We want to have a little bit of an angle on this. Now that is the baseline of the wave. Now remember, this painting is called The Anatomy of a Wave, so that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to learn the anatomy of a wave. And we're going to take a neutral color like that lavender and draw our wave in so you can really see how the wave works. Now this is what you call a breaker or our major wave. Okay, now this is very important. The angle of these brush strokes. Do you see that? What things do wrong, people really tend to do wrong when they're painting a wave is they either make a C or they make an S. Avoid those two brush strokes when you're doing the breaking part of this wave. Always repeat this line as you come over. Notice it's over a forward thrust and straight. And if you can learn that stroke right there, that's really the basis of a good seascape. Okay, so you want your baseline straight at an angle and these strokes over and straight. All right, I'm going to pick up more of that lavender and I'm going to use it as the underpainting for the foam on this crashing wave. See that? It's going to come way up there and break the horizon. Now again, this is the underpainting. Now what you don't want to do is to pick up a bunch of white paint and start making foam. In oil painting, it's nice to go from dark to light. Now all paintings seem to go through an ugly stage. If somebody walks in your studio when you're at this stage, they'll wonder what the heck you're doing. You can just tell them that that's the anatomy of the wave. Okay, this is all underpainting. All right, now this part of the wave, this area right in there, is the transparency. That's when the light's coming from behind the wave in the thin part of the water and then shining through the wave. And that's what people love in a seascape. And they think it's really magic. And you're going to find out today that it's easy to do and it's really fun. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to pick up straight phthalo blue and lay it right on top and overlap this black from here to the edge of the painting. I'm picking up straight phthalo blue and I'm going to go right over the top of that black. I'm going to have to keep picking up paint. Overlapping that black line on this side of the wave. Now this is a fun thing I do next. I'm not really going to clean my brush. I just wiped some of the extra paint out. I'm going to pick up straight yellow. But what happens with this dirty brush going right on top of this blue is it's going to turn green. So what I've got so far is 3 stripes, a black stripe, a blue stripe, and a yellow stripe that's turned green. All right. Now I'm going to wipe that off my brush, give it a quick rinse, and paint thinner. And I'm going to pick up a color here that I've mixed. This is just white with a mixture of yellow in it. I call this my sunshine color. So if I tell you to pick up sunshine, you know that that's going to be my pale yellow that's here on my palette. So we're going to put some sunshine in our wave. The whole top half of this wave, we're painting with sunshine. As long as there's nothing on my canvas, I continue to put medium in my paint. That makes the paint flow off the brush. Now, again, in this area, in this particular part of the wave, we want to use a good amount of paint. You don't want it thick and gooey, but you want a nice, even cover. All right, now we've got 4 stripes. Crazy way to paint a seascape, isn't it? I've got black, straight phthalo blue, straight cad yellow that turned green, and sunshine. Okay, and I'm going to wipe the paint out of my brush. And I'm going to start on this edge at about, an 1.5 to 2 inch stroke, and I'm blending. I'm starting at the bottom and just going back and forth until those colors start to mix on the canvas. And as they do, I gradually move up to the top of the wave. Look at the nice colors I'm getting in there. I'm getting blues and greens and... See that? And I'll continue to move across the canvas doing that. Wiping the brush at each section. See, I have plenty of paint on there so that it keeps blending. If there wasn't enough paint, it wouldn't blend. It would leave many more brush strokes than this is. Now, we'll smooth this out in a minute, but right now, this is real important. This is the eye, or transparency, or think of it as an egg shape. You want to blend with your brush stroke right up that egg shape. Now, what everybody does at this stage that is a mistake is they want to make it too steep. I can't tell you how many times I have to say, lay that stroke down. Keep it parallel to the baseline and lift it up gently. And then as you go out towards the edge of the wave, you lay it down more and more. Keep it gentle. All right, now it takes a lot of blending in this transparent part. You have to work on it quite a bit to get a nice, smooth glow. Remember not to lose your darks and to keep your lights light and to get a nice mid-tone in between. Actually, I'm doing that X still. Do you see that when I'm going back and forth with my brush? Almost all my blending is done with an X. All right, I'm going to switch to a little bit larger brush so that I can blend a little faster and pull a little of that paint off. As I pick up some of this paint, I'll clean my brush up there. How's that? Use some of that color. Okay, this is going to be really nice. Remember, this is the most important part of your painting, so you want to spend a little time on it. Try to make a real gradual blend on this. You can go back and add more sunshine in this transparent part too to give yourself more light. Okay, so that's the major part of your basic wave. Now this water that comes over, take your medium, go into the dark, pick up some blue, and pick up some yellow. That's just exactly the way your stripes were. You had the black, blue, and yellow, and that's what we're going to do right here with that brush stroke I told you about. Need more blue, more yellow. Keep that stroke straight, remember that. It's real good to put a smile. If you want to have a happy painting, you need a smile, right? So I'm going to take some yellow. I'm going to make a smile right there. Now that smile will show when we pull that paint over the top. Pull it back that way. I'm going to pick up more blue. So what's so nice about this is you can make these colors go any direction. You can change them back and forth from blues to greens to yellows. It gives you lots of multiplicity of color. All right, I'm going to take this color that I have in my brush with the blue and the yellow to do some of this back wave. Now this is a swell that's behind the major wave. Now the next swell will be a little bit lighter, so I'll take some of that same blue color and mix it into that lavender to lighten it. put in another swell. Do you see an ocean happening here yet? Okay, remember I said I'd go back and blend that horizon. I'm going to soften that real fast. That really gives you distance. See what nice distance we get there? All this paint I can move around a little bit because it's been setting a little bit. And a nice large brush is terrific for blending. Okay, we're going to cover the rest of this canvas with blue. Right under here. I'm not going to have beach in this. This is just going to be our basic wave in an open ocean. Now the blue right under the wave is a little darker because it's a little bit in shadow, and it will get lighter as it comes down. Pretty easy, isn't it? People think seascapes are hard, and they are, but you get a few basics, really helps a lot. I like my canvas to be loose on the easel, so I can turn it upside down and move it around. But you might like to have yours anchored a little better. Kind of banging it around here, aren't I? You don't have to paint this painting at home in half an hour. You can take your time. All right, notice what I'm going to do now. I'm going to actually take some of this here and pull it up on that wave so it all ties it together. I don't really want to lose that dark, because that's what makes that wave curl over. Do you see how now it's all part of the ocean? This black line over here is the shadow. Okay? Now we're going to highlight and put sunshine on our foam. I'm going to just pick up some sunshine. Now that foam will start making more sense to you. You'll pick up all your watercolors in the foam. That's okay, because foam is just little bubbles of water, isn't it? You can pull paint off. Don't have your foam thick and gooey. I think that's real important. I see students lots of times want to make their foam way too thick. Can you see how really thin my paint is there on the foam area? All right, I'm going to pick up more sunshine. I'm using quite a bit of paint here on the edge where it picks up more light. By having that underpainting with thin paint, I can keep building up with more and more paint. Right, so we've got foam. We've got our major wave. Let's put some foam coming over that wave. Watch this. This is fun. Notice I keep repeating that same stroke. Notice how that changes it, too. Right, we're going to take more sunshine and add it to the rest of our painting. Again, a little bit of medium. And we're going to add sunshine way back here. Sort of a cradle stroke. We'll pick up some more sunshine. And as we go further back, those swells get closer together and our stroke gets flatter and flatter. Now in the front, we can add more sunshine to give us motion in the water here. Can you see that motion? This is just sunshine on our brush and a cradle stroke. Practice doing this, getting the flow of the cradle stroke. Okay. We've got some waves going in the foreground. You can spend a lot more time on detail. This gives you your basic anatomy of a wave, gives you a start. Let's be tricky and throw in a couple of seagulls really fast. Whoa, wrong brush, not with that one. You need a liner brush. Pick up our black paint. I use a maul stick a lot. It really helps me brace my hand. I think a seagull will do a lot for this. How's that? Put a couple more over here. Okay, now there's a lot we could do to this painting, a lot more motion we can put in our water. But I think that it's a good time to sign it, because this is a half-hour painting, a lesson for you on how to paint the anatomy of a wave. Ortner is the last name on this painting. And now we have the anatomy of a wave. Remember the baseline of your wave, the transparency, motion of the water, a straight horizon, and you can paint a seascape. What do you think, Bob?
I think that's fantastic, Joyce, and I think everyone at home will really enjoy this painting. It shows a great deal of how you go about building a wave. So, on behalf of all of us here, we'd like to wish each and every one of you happy painting. God bless. We'll see you next week.